Okay, this video is the one I promised about my mental hospital experiences. It turns out I wrote a lot about my very first one, so that's the one I'm going to focus on today. Okay, so my first time going to a mental hospital was in 1998. My then husband and I were having a shouting argument, and the neighbors called the cops because they heard me yelling, "I can't live like this anymore." They thought I was suicidal, but what was really going on was that I wanted a divorce. So anyway, the cop asked me if I want to go in an ambulance or in the back of the car to the hospital. I thought an ambulance would be too embarrassing, so I chose the back of his car, and he cuffed me. So I'm riding in the back of his car on the way to the hospital emergency room, and we start talking. We bond, and at the hospital, he walks me in and takes off the cuffs and sits in the room with me for a while. And a nurse comes in and says to him, "We are not going to treat her until you leave." So he left. And of course, I felt abandoned because I thought we were best friends. That was my thinking pattern when I was 21 years old. So after the cop left, the nurse came in to give me a shot, and I didn't want the shot. So a few men in white uniforms came in to hold me down. Of course, that's because I had gone into a rage at the thought of getting a shot. So the men held me down, and one of them shot me in the butt with a needle. They tied me to the bed and left. I calmed down immediately, and within 30 seconds I was off the bed, looking out the door window. The nurse came back in and told me that I was the fastest person to ever escape from the restraints. I grinned. Then she told me I needed to get back in the restraints for 5 more minutes. This made no sense to me, but the medication was already working, so I agreed, crying and crying for no reason I could think of. She strapped me onto the bed. Thinking back, it doesn't seem like I was on there terribly long, so I believe they did come in when the 5 minutes were up. I don't remember much after that until I was in a bed in the mental hospital being spoken to by another nurse. She was telling me that I'd slept well because she heard me snoring. I had an interview with a psychiatrist and ended up with a prescription for, of all things, Prozac. The same Prozac I'm being prescribed by my psychiatrist just recently. So there's some groups to go to and some games that we played, and I don't even remember the food. I do remember that I bonded with a guy in the ward and we were holding hands. And the nurses wouldn't let us do that. So I got all pissed off, but I don't remember whatever came of that incident. I remember the first night, well, maybe the second night, I was there. I couldn't sleep, so I asked for a sleeping pill. They wouldn't give me one because I was on prenatal vitamins. I was like, I just had a baby. I'm not pregnant. But they wouldn't give me a sleeping pill, so I assume I probably went batshit. So after I got home from the mental hospital, I remember going to some psychiatrist or something once or twice. She tried to get me to go to group therapy, but I didn't want to go, so I didn't go. I took the Prozac for only a few days before deciding I didn't like the way it made me feel. I have no idea what dosage I was on. I was supposed to go back to the psychiatrist, but after the first couple of visits, I stopped going. I don't remember my reasoning at the time, and I can only guess. Maybe I thought I didn't need the help. That was only the second time I had ever been on medication. And I will talk about the first time in my next video, so stay tuned.